When you go to work on a shark boat, you learn to become a mouth breather really fast. You can be on the bow of a 36-foot dive boat, making 12 knots into a 15-knot headwind, and your nose will still let you know the exact moment the chum box is open back at the stern. In the parlance of the street, this stuff could gag a maggot. But to these beauties, it's absolute ambrosia. Tiger Beach is not really a beach at all. Situated some 25 miles off the west end of Grand Bahama, it comprises a sand shelf that rises to within 15 to 30 feet of the surface. Local fishermen have known about the place for generations. A few years ago, ER doctor and professional shark handler Vincent Cannibal and his wife Deborah started getting to know the site and its inhabitants. Their fascination with the sharks grew into a love for them. They recognized that sharks are in desperate need of human protection. They started a company called Epic Diving and developed a program offering extraordinary opportunities to a growing number of scuba divers and conservationists. In the process, they have done a remarkable job of raising awareness about the plight of sharks on a worldwide scale. Sharks have been feared and vilified by man since time immemorial. Vinny and Deb are doing their best to dispel myths surrounding these amazing beasts and to prove to the world that they do not deserve their ages-old reputation as mindless killing machines. Such dangerous and unsustainable practices as shark finning threaten to upset the delicate balance in all the world's oceans. Shark fin soup doesn't make you virile or bring you luck. If you want to impress someone, come down here and do this. The experience is not to be taken lightly. Even though people are 50 times more likely to be killed by flying champagne corks than by sharks, these animals do require constant attention. Take your eyes off them for a few seconds, and you'll find them coming in for closer inspection in very uncomfortable proximity, kind of like Cancun timeshare salesmen. From the reef sharks to the lemons, and especially the tigers, you get the feeling that they're just circling around looking for an angle. Situational awareness is critical. I don't mind telling you, every moment I was down there, I was twisting my head around like a British fighter pilot during the Blitz. The workday begins before dawn. Reynold Butler, captain of the dive boat Thresher, is already aboard in preparation for another day at sea. Our base of operations is Blue Marlin Cove Marina. It's off-season here, and we have the place almost to ourselves. Our cameras and gear were snuggled by the door. Copious quantities of coffee are poured, and some of us go back to sleep during the 90-minute trip to the dive site. It's called Tiger Beach, but tigers are not the only sharks here by any means. The prospect of a free meal has attracted a host of others, including lemons and gray reef sharks. Most of these more skittish species are kept closer to the surface by occasional tidbits thrown into the water. Without this distraction, these chihuahuas of the deep could create a lot more confusion down below. We routinely find ourselves surrounded by as many as 30 of these guys as we enter and exit the water. I am here at the personal invitation of famed underwater cinematographer Joe Romeiro, the finest shark shooter of our time. Joe and his creative partner Bill Fisher are the driving force behind 333 Productions. They also founded 333 Expeditions, bringing divers together with not only tiger sharks but makos, blues, oceanic whitetips, and great hammerheads, and more. Joe was completely in his element here, documenting the behaviors of these magnificent creatures. We are also joined by professional underwater photographers Greg Holmes, Chris Mazingo, and Mike Powell. To watch Vin Cannibal orchestrating this parade of sharks has to be compared to a symphony. There's a distinct rhythm to it, and the maestro directs this concerto like an underwater Tchaikovsky. Part conductor, part judo instructor, he knows that these are the mistresses of their domain, and he is merely a gentleman caller in their subaquatic parlor. Vinny, Deb, and Joe know these ladies very well, and yes, all 12 of the tiger sharks we saw this week are females. On our final day, all 12 of them were in the water with us. We line up with our backs against the stiff current. The scent of the bait fish wafts in front of us, drawing the curious, hungry sharks on a collision course with the waiting cameras. Knowing that it would set an unhealthy precedent to let them get their way all the time, Vinny is frugal with the handouts. Relatively speaking, aside from chewing with their mouths open, the tigers usually demonstrate impeccable table manners. But now and then, they decide to show a little more rebellious side and give us the answer to the proverbial question, what does a 12-foot tiger shark eat? This is the ultimate hostile takeover. Unable to make an escape with her ill-gotten lunchbox, she swims off in a huff. Most of these are returning characters that have been part of the Tiger Beach experience for years. They have names like Pink, Precious, and Princess Jammin'. Hook, who has a sort of Elvis Presley sneer going on, doesn't have a hook in her mouth, but as you can see, Gothica here has two of them. This painful bling is the result of unsuccessful attempts to reel her in. Gothica 2, Angler's Zip. But the undisputed ruler of the roost is Emma, 16 feet of pelagic pulchritude. When you see her approaching for the first time, you almost expect to see a periscope coming up out of her. This is one supersized fish. For someone so big and imposing, she is exceptionally well-mannered. Princess Jammin' gets a little precocious when Vinny tries to keep her at bay. Rather than go around him, she takes a more direct path. I grew up on a ranch in Texas. I've been to plenty of rodeos. I've seen plenty of cowboys riding plenty of bucking bulls and broncos, but this is a first. But now the bait is all gone, and we don't want these ladies to start looking at our appendages as though they were so many mahi-mahi carcasses. It's time to head back to Thresher and make port. Our laptops and Photoshops await. This has been a mind-blowing experience and one which I fully intend to repeat. The conditions would not allow a night dive this time, and that's something I feel I really need to do, so sit tight. Cool your fins. I'll be back. I'm Paul Cater Deaton, and I'll see you under the bubbles.